The deadly secret of the Vatican and Mount Athos. Mount Athos, as we know, is a peninsula of northern Greece. It has 20 monasteries that are only male monasteries. The presumption that we will present are enough to reject, both literally and spiritually, the views that some opponents of ancient Greek spirit are trying to pass. The arguments of the popes and siblings, the Orthodox, are uh, something very suspicious. Now, for 2,000 years, Christians have skillfully insulted the Greek cosmopolitan Alexandros Philippou with the consent of some modern nationals. They are given the opportunity to present him as a person of scandals and crimes. That is, there are today some national uh, Greeks that follow the ancient pagan gods of the pantheon of the gods of Olympus, who claim that from the moment that Philip II defeated the Athenians at Chaeronea, that's the time of Alexander the Great, 300 BC, Greek culture also disappeared, but they forget that Greek culture spread with a great contribution of Philip's son, Alexander the Great, throughout the universe. Exclamation points. This unfavorable propaganda began in 1960 when some from atheists helped the ambitious plan of the Pope and the Orthodox. As we know from history, the pseudo-Stoic philosopher of Rome, Seneca, was a bad imitator of Greek philosophy and a close friend of Saul, renamed Paul. Seneca spoke Greek well and used phrases and meanings of the Attic dialect, adding nuggets of Stoic philosophy. And this Latino knew about the Eleusinian mysteries, where the probationary mystics were dressed in animal skins. And apart from that, he studied Parsinum because they also wore animal skins in their rituals. And it goes without saying that the Persian priests, quote, who imitated the Greeks of Eleusis, and, quote, wore the skins of animals to gain power. The imitator of the Greek Seneca wrote, dress in the spirit of a great man. Now, Seneca was where the wind blew because in other words, he acted that he believed in the philosophy of whatever was the major philosophy of the time, because while he was a friend and advisor to Emperor Nero, he nevertheless took part in the assassination of Nero. And beyond that, Seneca was ignorant of the history of Macedonia, of northern Greece, as well as that of Isocrates' struggles to unite all Greeks. The fact that Seneca was completely ignorant of the history of Macedonia, that's the area of Alexander the Great, of Salonika today, and especially of the benevolence of Alexander the Great throughout the universe, is mentioned by the pseudo-philosopher himself, a fact which was proven through the letter of Paul. Seneca to Paul, hello, I greet you, my dear friend Paul. Believe me, until the time of happiness comes and puts on an end to all this, the world suffers from the powerful. Take the example of the ancients who suffered so much from the Macedonian, the son of Philip. From the correspondence of Seneca with Paul, Lipsius, Acts Apostolum Apocrypha, Volume 1, Paul was also ignorant of the glorious story of Philip and Alexander the Great of ancient Greece. He had obviously not been touched by the Holy Spirit yet at that time. He was completely ignorant even of the struggles of the freedom of Greece of Philip V, as well as the sacrifice of Perseus, the last king of Macedonia. And if Paul had basic knowledge of the glorious history of the past of Macedonia and Alexander the Great and Philip, then it's certain that he would have protested, albeit loosely, but the fact that he did not protest or disagree with Seneca's friends means that he was a diplomat politician while his divinity had gone for a walk in Tarsus. The deadly secret that burns the Vatican and Orthodoxy is found in the manuscripts of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Specifically, in 1947, the manuscripts of the Qumran of the Dead Sea were found. Qumran papyrus are over 2,000 years old. They refer to the righteous master warrior who will one day return to life and punish the wicked Marius Veritas. This is according to Dead Sea Scroll. Nevertheless, after 1947, when the Qumran papyri or Dead Sea Scrolls were unveiled, some manuscripts mysteriously disappeared. Because every problem has a solution, we'll enter the sanctuaries of the Vatican, or the Holy Mafia, as is called by the French author Jean Charlier, who wrote the book Vatican, the Holy Mafia. Supervisor there is Giuseppe Garofano, who disappeared, who lost or made disappear the pieces in question. The Vatican has this hobby to disappear, to just make everything disappear that should not have vanished, to pay and buy it that can demolish the edifice called Christianity. It can arouse suspicion in the general public, as it did with that French author, researcher Robert Abelin, as another case. The manuscripts purchased from the Vatican wrote that the righteous man or righteous master warrior was Alexandros Philippou, that is, the son of Philip, that is, Alexander the Great. Some have suggested that the manuscripts meant Jesus by Galileo did not live in the time to which they refer. However, in Europe, there are a few thousand university professors who happen to be Hellenists, so some of them who undertook the decryption of the manuscripts took some photocopies, and after taking 4 regular Qumran manuscripts, decided to come to Greece. It was first-class opportunity to announce the fact that the Dead Sea Scrolls weave the praises of Alexander the Great, while at the same time giving the opportunity to make it known that the Apostle Paul was completely ignorant of the history of Macedonia. On July 24th, 1971, the Hellenistic European professor set out for Greece to announce the contents of those manuscripts with the Greek ferry Eleana, but they were not destined to arrive alive because the Vatican, the Orthodox officials, the priests, monks of Mount Athos, and Tito had spread the Orthodox cities that the Europeans were coming to Greece, and that the ultimate goal of disgusting the Orthodox Church makes it young people turn their attention to other more essential issues. They were afraid that they would lose the flock and the animals that they have staged. They would lose the billions that they had collected for 2,000 years. The dirty trick catched. The priests convinced the naive that the forerunners of the Antichrist are coming to Greece. That's it. The ferryboat Elena caught fire, but let's see exactly what the European newspapers wrote. According to Le Monde, for many days, the Orthodox priests and monks of Mount Athos said that Europeans should not come to Greece because they would lead young people astray, and indeed they did not allow them to come because the ferryboat Elena caught fire while the lifeboats did not move from their place. The captain and the officers showed an inexplicable indifference and left secretly in a boat while the tourists had a tragic death. This is according to Le Monde, July 25th, 1971. And Robert Abelin wrote 3 books. 1, Jesus or the Deadly Secret of the Templars. 2, Golgotha and its Serious Secrets. 3, The 3 Duchesses and Sons of David in Belgium, as well as with several $1 million. These 2 books have never seen the light of day, and it goes on. Provence of Sunday, July 25th, 1971. The European Philhellenes came to worship the Greek land, especially Macedonia. Suddenly, however, the ship Elena that transported them caught fire. Pandemonium followed, and tourists lost their lives because that is what some wanted. The captain and his officers disappeared in a lifeboat. There's nothing in these officials of Christian doctrine that's true. Now, there was very bad instincts in the hearts and thoughts of some. For the 2,000 years, Greece was betrayed by them countless of times. It was exchanged, it was ruined, systematically excavated, and it was mortgaged. But unfortunately for them, Greece was doomed to become the lighthouse of the world again. Now, so after Seneca and his friend Paul were unaware of that Alexander the Great respected all religions and all peoples, they judged and concluded that Alexander was the tormentor of Greece and the result, the rest of the population of the earth. And this brings us to the first decades of the 20th century, where Tito and Marco Vafiades stated the following: since the Orthodox Church of Greece did not speak about everything that Seneca and Paul said, then those who are left over in the south of Serbia will be called Macedonians and will present them as descendants of Alexander. This was 1943. Now, that is why Tito gave them a nation, Macedonia, when in fact they were never Macedonians. Modern critics of Alexander the Great deliberately ignore the fact that all countries under the occupation of other peoples suffered greatly, as for 2,000 years the Greeks are suffering as well, were suffering as well. Now, with Alexander, however, no people walked the avenue of despair, nor the path of deprivation, nor the gate of agony. On the contrary, they lived much better than they did. And before Alexander was there, no people of the East accepts pessimistic criticism of the Greek Alexander the Great. They called him Iskandar. I've translated this for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.